Canada wants national sick leave plan in place for second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Canada wants to protect its citizens by writing sick leave into law. America wants to remove COVID-19 liability for corporations. https://www. abadjournal.com/news/article/McConnell says aid bill must include liability shield for businesses and hospitals. As a Canadian, I'm all for this, but it could actually be quite difficult to achieve due to the division of powers between the federal government and the provinces. The federal government would only have the power to bring this into federally regulated industries because the provinces are generally responsible for employment. So, in order for this to be in place for all Canadians, he needs to get all of the provinces on board. Not impossible, but when Doug Ford came into power in Ontario, he passed legislation which eliminated 2 guaranteed sick days for low-income workers, which had been passed by the previous government. Maybe, given the situation due to COVID, it might be easier to get this done. But I'm skeptical. Must be nice living in a country that takes care of its citizens. I would settle for a place to report your employer if they are acting like idiots and not providing safety equipment or following rules. I tried to do something about mine and quickly realized the government doesn't give a fuck unless it's major issues. As a Canadian, I approve. This won't be for every industry, trust me. I'm Canadian and have been working non-stop through this pandemic. No CERB payment, no time off, no private health plan. I'm lucky I can work, but I would put money on it that this won't affect every industry/business. FYI, we had this in Ontario for a brief period, but the Conservative government got rid of it about 2 years ago. If the Gov does not take good care of their populace, what is the point of supporting them? America sure is starting to look like a one-party dictatorship, yet our 2 paid sick days in Ontario were taken away the minute Doug got in power. These were days we needed. Meanwhile in the U.S., neither party wants to do much of anything, it seems. Christ almighty. The stark divide between Canada planning for the second inevitable wave and the US still denying the first. I'm surprised our cross-Atlantic cousins didn't already have it. The federal parliament does not have legislative jurisdiction to enact a nationwide sick leave plan, except for what businesses and undertakings are already under its jurisdiction. Trudeau will have to convince provincial governments to champion such legislation as is necessary to implement that measure into provincial labor law, as it is not enough to simply pay through federal spending power to achieve this goal. Have you learned nothing from your southern neighbor Canada? You don't enact laws for natural persons. Thank the NDP, they are doing a great job. They asked for 14 and got 10. Without them and a minority government that wouldn't have happened, the Libs would have not conceded that. Wow, thinking ahead. What a brilliant idea. Not likely to see this in the States. The sick leave plan, or the brilliant thinking, that is. My American ass once again wishing I was Canadian. If they weren't so fucking cold, it would be a perfect country to live in. If only my country had a sane guy instead of a genocidal fool at top. Sigh, he is an accurate representation of majority though. Oh Canada, so compassionate. You're so high above me. With an article like this, why doesn't CNN take a moment to compare and contrast the way Canada is handling this pandemic compared to the Trump administration? US could, read, would, never. I wish our whack-ass president would do this. Ha ha ha, we ain't getting it. I work for a company in Calgary that recently merged with an American company. If this goes through, I hope I still get it, probably not though. As much as I'm not entirely happy with how my province, NS, is dealing with COVID, I am happy that our chief medical advisor is constantly driving the point home that a second wave is very likely and we need to be prepared. And that sentiment seems to be shared across most of Canada as a whole as well. Can they really just do that there? Come up with some ideas to make life better for people and just do it? I'm in awe at the idea of a country that big just making humanitarian progress as if Republicans don't exist. Edit, oh okay, Turns out they have their own powerful groups of anti-human forces too. I still wish them the best of luck in this effort. And Americans are too dumb to want this, but you know haircuts are more important. Please do, I hope for you. Forgotten US citizen who thought America was the best. P.S. After all this shit, can I come to Canada? Hockey is the best sport. I'm from Minnesota. I freaking love you, Canada. Federal level great. But unless they give provinces the money to do it, this won't happen. Sick days costs businesses big and small dinero. Trudeau is being forced by the NDP, his party are not progressive at all. Can we not erase the work of Singh and the NDP? The only reason why Trudeau wants to do this is because of their advocacy and leverage. Any tips on how to date Canadian girls? Asking for American friends. Hey, actually planning for the future, what is wrong with these Canadians? /S. Still laid off Justin. EI is what's gonna cover me for this second wave by the look of it, lol. Can he not do this through an OIC? Don't you get sick leave in Canada? Looks at my 550 hours of accrued sick leave in Australia, should chuck a sickie, but there's nowhere to go. God, why are half of these comment threads about the US? This site can never discuss politics without it relating to one country, it's quite tiresome. Holy Christ, it must be amazing to have a government that is proactive and wants to take care of its people. Yeah. If there is a second wave in the US, we are all gonna die, that's our plan so far. Trudeau has a fine head of hair. I really hope this kind of plan is implemented. There's a real disparity between all businesses in how sick leave is handled. Pretty much all low-paying / minimum wage jobs give none. Jobs like mine, accounting in a public practice firm, is spotty, with my own firm basically giving us additional accrued time equivalent to 4 days paid for sick time. My husband works for a public company and they have unlimited paid sick days, which is often exploited much to my husband's disgust. I think 10 days paid sick time is fair, and that should absolutely be a federally mandated minimum, just like the minimum wage. Prorated for part-time workers. I'm in BC and I'm quite sure our current government would be on board. How do I become a Canadian citizen fast? XD, moving there just seems so much more enticing. An NDP demand. Nice to see a realistic approach as opposed to the endless first wave America apparently plans on riding. Hypercapnia is your second fucking wave. If the days aren't subsidized by the government, then I don't see it working. Small businesses can't afford this. Kinda sucks if you're a sole proprietor. Wasn't this the top story yesterday? Nothing new has happened. That will be a big fat thanks to our most indoctrinated of provinces, Alberta. Heartsued, Dougie just got rid of our 2 measly sick days right after getting elected. He'll look like a huge incompetent fool if he not only gives us our sick days back but gives us 10. So I doubt those of us working in Ontario at least are going to be entitled to sick days anytime soon. Just to clear up, the NDP, our left of center party, Liberals are center, pushed for this plan. Without them, it would not have come to pass. Must be nice to have a somewhat competent government. News is about Canada. Top 2 comment is about US. Can an elderly couple in Canada adopt me as a grandkid? Trudeau looks so haggard in this pic, what happened to him? So Canada wants more money? What about internet money? Give us some of that money. Let's be honest, Canada wants everything. The whom said the second wave may not even happen, and we will do nothing here in the US, easy. Let people draw EI for sick days.